make your life easier.
Sweet.
It's probably good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So who am I here with today?
I'm Brandon Westberg. I've been working for KMS for 9 seasons for the weekend program, and I think this is my 6th through Academy.
Sweet. So where are you from, and like where'd you grow up skiing?
I was born in Rutland, Vermont. Rutland Hospital, shout out. I grew up skiing Pico. I started as a ski racer when I was super young. That's what my parents were into, and that's what my dad did all of his life. So I guess he wanted that for me. I grew up ski racing Pico and kind of started to hate it over the years. In high school, I used it as an outlet to get out of school early, which was fun, but I just fell in love with skiing at Pico. Once I got a little bit older and discovered Killington was like 5 minutes down the road, made my parents start to drive me there like every single day instead of Pico. I just thought it was a lot more fun and they had a lot more to offer. So definitely a Pico kid at heart, but I would say Killington's probably my home mountain.
So you said you started ski racing. What got you into free skiing?
I started ski racing. I ski raced for like 14 years. I would always have a pair of twin tips. Like no matter what, I was just stoked to stop ski racing and to like go hit the park with my buddies or like jump off cliffs or like do stupid stuff when I was 12 or 13 or 14 years old. So I would say just the kind of the crew of kids that I grew up with, the super early crew. I've kind of lost touch with all of them, or neither of them really ski. But there's like 3 or 4 kids at Pico who are racers, and we'd always just go hit the park after racing. So I think it was just the crew of homies when I was like 12 or 13 years old that got me interested in park skiing. What truly got me like stoked about park skiing was these 2 dudes named Kevin Merchant, Tweak, and this other guy named Dan Valaire, who went to be on the team manager of Armada Skis. Those guys like gave me my first sponsorship. Funny enough, like the first rail jam I ever competed in, I got 3rd place for doing like a front 2 out of a rail or like some stupid tricks. But I got 3rd place, and my prize was a gift certificate for a free tune to Basin Sports. They used to have a program called Evolution Freeride, and I got my free tune, and the guys there like saw value in me, started hooking me up with line and other like cool deals just for being like an awesome go-getter person who was interested in free skiing. And those guys were kind of my 2 mentors after I was like leaving the ski racing world. It was those 2 guys specifically that like really got me stoked on the sport and like wanting to learn, wanting to get better and like use every opportunity I had. So I would say it's probably those 2 guys and just like having a sick attitude of like I want to go ski no matter what, and I want to park ski.
That's sweet. Well, shout out to Tweak. When you were getting into free skiing, were there any professional skiers that you looked up to or were an inspiration to you?
I mean, around Killington, there really wasn't a whole lot of like professional skiers. When I was coming out of my ski racing world, I was like growing up with all snowboarders. So I was like the only skier in my gang, kind of right as I was meeting Tweak and whatnot. So I wouldn't say there's any like pro skier. I mean, I guess Tweak was a pro in my mind, but he's just a line skis dude who's a little weird and does weird tricks. I don't know if I'd call him a pro, but to me, he was like a local pro. And same with this other guy, Dan, who was really good at skiing at the time. And I think he placed in a couple Rails to Riches contests. And I wouldn't say there's like pro skiers in Killington I looked up to. Mostly those 2 guys, just kind of like being my mentor, not my coach really. They didn't teach me much, but they were there to ski well and like push me as an athlete and like spark that passion.
Sweet. At what point did you decide that you wanted to coach free skiing?
At what point did I want to decide I wanted to coach? This is a funny story, actually. So it was at Loaded Turkey Rail Jam in probably like 2017 or 2016. And I knew who this guy Pete was, and I knew he coached for KMS. And I did it was a flat rail to like a banana rail. So you had to transfer as a down. So it was a flat, and then a banana rail as a down. So you had to like transfer. And I did a 270 disaster, like banana slide onto both of the rails. And then after that, I was like throwing down and doing really good at this rail jam. And this dude, Pete, who I knew who he was, came up to me was like, hey, have you ever thought about coaching before? And then the conversation kind of sparked from there. But I never really had thought about being a ski coach. I was always an athlete for like so many years and never really saw that in my future. But I thought it was an awesome. I sat down that night, thought about it. I was like, do I want to go this direction with my life? Do I want to like keep trying to go big and make it as an athlete? And then I kind of weighed all the costs and benefits and was like, coaching would be sick. I can still live like vicariously through my athletes, like throwing down, get opportunities to travel, opportunities to connect with new people, and like just teach people something, which I thought was really cool. So that definitely shifted in wanting to coach. So yeah, shout out Pete for snagging me as a coach from a rail jam a lot of years ago.
That's a sick story. So was KMS the first place you worked as a coach?
Yeah, KMS was the first place I worked as a coach. I started on the weekend program and like built my skills working with younger athletes and found it fairly not easy, but like a lot of just natural intuition. I have a lot of knee injuries. At the time, I think I had like 10 knee injuries. So I've kind of like retaught myself how to ski and like do all these skills and like I've retaught myself the fundamentals countless times. And I think that made it pretty easy to transition into teaching others that, just of everything I've been through my injuries and whatnot. But yeah, KMS was the first place I've worked, and I've worked several other places as a coach now down the road.
Great. And just to finish off the interview, I've got a few quick fire questions.
Sick.
So, it's the longest escalator you've ever skied.
The longest escalator I've ever skied. I've scoped out many. Um, I've only done one in my time. It was K1. Don't have a footage. Maybe we'll go with a tape measure sometime. But that is the longest one. There's been several in airports that look pretty sick, but I don't have my skis to tear it up with. So yeah, that's the only one I've done. But I see more staircases and escalators, and I actually want to film a summer part with no snow this year in Oregon, and like just go to Portland and like ski stupid shit on a pair of wrecked skis and release like an edit with no snow at all.
That sounds awesome. We will all be waiting for that. And if you were in charge of park crew, what would you change about Killington Parks? A
Um,
loaded question.
I'd change a lot of things. I would put someone in charge that can actually ride a rail or a jump. I think it's very important, kind of as a coach as well, to like have these skills to teach your athletes. Like I can't do every trick that I teach my athletes, but obviously park crew can't hit every jump they build. But I feel like it's very essential to have someone that's not only competent and can hit these features, but has experience as well. And I get that's not the easiest thing to like obtain around here, but I think that someone with a good fundamental like park background should be in charge of the parks and then building and letting the groomers do what they do and design and everything else will come with that. But I just think some of the jumps could be a little better built with someone who has a background of being able to hit these jumps and being able to communicate with the groomers to do their job a little differently.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for your time and for your insight into some free skiing stuff. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tucker.
And we'll figure out how to edit the end.